ASMR Magical Tools. Hey, thanks for coming over. Yeah, I always have a great time. Yeah, I know things can get heavy sometimes. Oh, yeah, let me finish. Okay. Now, you can see I have all these really soft velvet scrunchies. I like using them because they're like really nice on the hair. I'm wearing some right now, but my hair's too long and it's stuck in my jacket. I know. It's a secret. Shh, 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 shh. Shh, stop. No, we're gonna get in trouble. You gotta keep your voice down. Nobody's supposed to know. Alright, which color do you want? Okay, cool. Yeah, here. Okay. Yeah. Let me. Yeah. No, it looks good. Yeah, you can tease. I'll tease your bangs up, kind of like mine. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. No, it looks really good. Yeah, you can go look at it if you want. Yeah, that's good, right? Okay. And, of course, my very good friend, Veronica. I guess there are other octopuses too that have, there's one with an orange slice, and I think another one, but I don't remember their names. I like the squishmallows a lot, but I think, you know, I'm an adult, I should probably just stick to one, right? So, today we're actually, we're going to be talking about a demon called AMAYMON. Now, there's some variations on pronunciation and spelling for this demon's name, and we'll get into some of those reasons in a little bit. So, AMAYMON is said to be the king of the east of the jinn. So, Paimon was the king of the west of the jinn, and AMAYMON is the king of the east. But again, like I mentioned in that video, there's a lot of differences in the sources as to which demon governs which cardinal direction. So, if your sources say something different, that's entirely possible. Now, AMAYMON is said to be the only demon who has power over Asmodeus, right? His name is said in some sources to come from Greek and is supposed to mean vehemence and excessive violence, but I was not able to find any equivalency there. So if you speak Greek and that word sounds familiar, please let me know down in the comments if there's anything there. I couldn't find anything. There also seems to be a lot of conflation between the entities AMAYMON and Amon, with many equating the Egyptian deity wholesale with AMAYMON. I will be presenting information here about some of the entities who might have contributed to the commonly accepted forms of this demon as well. Amon originates in ancient Egypt and is one of the forms of the sun god Re. Amon means hidden and refers to the hidden name of the sun god, which, once known, can be used to wield power over him. This intersects with the four-letter name of the Hebrew god, for which the pronunciation was once known and was kept a carefully guarded secret. So you can see that naming in a lot of different cultures has a pretty important significance. This form of the god is depicted as a man wearing a high double-plumed crown, but in other forms, Re has the head of a falcon or a hawk. Okay, so now there's also one of the 7 jinn kings is named Maymon of the clouds. And the 7 jinn kings each rule one day of the week. I'm going to mention this entity in the Mammon video also. Maymon is the Persian word for monkey, and thus he does take this form. He is the only winged jinn king, and his correspondences are Saturday, the planet Saturn, the color black, gold metal, and he is guarded by the angel Kapsil. He is known to abduct humans and is also an executioner, and his age is given as being over 7,000 years old. So his name being Maymon might have contributed to the name AMAYMON, but probably not as much of a factor as Amon, and we'll see more about that shortly. I am not to judge for you to what extent any of these entities are the same as any other, but I'm going to present as much information as I can for you to make that decision on your own. Anthropologically speaking, the geographic proximity between these deities and the tendency of cultures to subsume and absorb aspects of their neighbors and tributaries allows for great variation among the ranks of demons. Consider also that at the period of history in which the original texts on the Goetia were written, the history of the Neteru had been temporarily lost, right? Entities don't simply disappear when a religion falls from favor, especially after millennia of devotion. This brings up also the important reason for the intricate rituals used for invocation. Invocation is a very powerful ritual designed to allow the practitioner to communicate and conduct business with one or more entities. Knowing whom you are summoning is crucial. Thus, most invocation rituals involve casting a circle for protection, which works in a general sense to keep entities at an arm's length. Next are the seals, which act much like addressing a letter or calling someone's phone number, in that you are specifying which entity with whom you are requesting a meeting. Finally, you have barbarous names and scripts specific to the entity, so that when it arrives, you will be able to wield some control over the situation and ensure that your wires haven't gotten crossed. During the invocation of Asmodeus, the conjurer must remove his headdress, lest AMAYMON doom all his workings henceforth, according to lesser key derivative sources. And I talked in a different video about how there are a lot of sources out there that are derivative of the lesser key of Solomon. This caveat does not exist in the original Latin, but these are beings with some form of their own sentience and thus prone to evolution over time, so maybe he decided that he thought it was disrespectful for people to wear a hat. AMAYMON has been described as appearing in the following forms. Sometimes he's a wolf with a serpent's tail. Sometimes he's a man with either the head of an owl or a raven bearing canine teeth. Some have speculated that those teeth are possibly related to the tomial teeth featured on falcon's beaks. That's like a little protuberance, a little sharp, serrated part on falcon beaks, which would harken back to the imagery associated with Ray. He was written about by Johann Weir in 1583 in the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum, and Weir used the name Amon. Amon, or AMAYMON, is a great and mighty marquis, and cometh abroad in the likeness of a wolf, having a serpent's tail, a head of flames and fire. When he putteth on the shape of a man, he sheweth out dog's teeth, and a great head, like to a mighty night hawk. He is the strongest prince of all other, and understandeth of all things past and to come. He procureth favor, and reconcileth both friends and foes, and rule 40 legions of devils. So he's very powerful, and the fact that he doesn't rule more legions of devils, I think, is probably because he's busy with other stuff. Sorry, Veronica. And then also, S.L. McGregor Mathers wrote about Amon as well. He said the seventh spirit is Amon. He is a marquis great in power and most stern. He appeareth like a wolf with a serpent's tail, but McGregor Mathers says that he's vomiting out of his mouth flames of fire. And then also McGregor Mathers says that you can command him to put on the shape of a man with dog's teeth beset in a head like a raven, or else like a man with a raven's head. He telleth all things past and to come. He procureth feuds and reconcileth controversies between friends. He governeth 40 legions of spirits. His seal is this, which is to be worn as aforesaid, and then of course gives the seal in the document. These descriptions do present slight discrepancy. Realistically, demons may present themselves in any form they desire, especially to incite specific emotions within the practitioner. Considering that this may be the very sun himself, I would not doubt his power to appear any way he chooses, let alone confer any blessings he might see fit. Now that we have access to all the original source texts from Egyptian temples and tombs, you might also consider approaching Amon along that path instead. The rigorous structure of Egyptian rituals is very similar in some ways to intense ceremonial magic like you would use when summoning the Goetia. So, you can see this is an instance where it's very likely that one deity was taken out of context and put into an entirely different context. But of course, it looks like there might be influences also from other cultures. He is called a jinn, and of course we know that jinn have a lifespan. They live much longer than humans, but they don't live forever. Neteru, however, do. So it's very interesting to see how this amalgamation might have occurred. Yeah, it's very fascinating studying these demons and finding out that a lot of them are different from what they are presented as, even within the Ars Goetia and subsequent works. I'll be doing Lucifer soon, and that's a good case of that. But it's important to not just like take things wholesale, but also to go back and do research and make sure that you're talking to who you think you're talking to, and that you know enough about them